In today's video, I'm going to show you a 4D little hairstylist design. So I have 3 basic things that you might need if you are doing your hair or somebody else's hair, or if you work as a cosmetologist. So I have a little flat iron, and then the cord from the flat iron wraps around the nail and finishes with a little outlet plug, and then a pair of 4D shears that open and close. And to finish this off, a little hairbrush. I think it's just so cute, and it's very girly and like summer slumber party kind of esque, almost like, you know, having fun doing different people's hair. So I hope you guys like this design as much as I do, whether you are a cosmetologist or a hair enthusiast. And don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well. Bye! We're going to begin with an overlay of Cover Pink Acrylic, going over the whole thing and just sort of smoothing it down the sides. I sometimes do my Cover Pink overlays trying to do it in one bead and doing a 1 bead method. I especially will do that with a shorter nail, but since this one is such a long stiletto shape, I am going to do it in a 3 bead system. And the reason I sometimes do that in 1 bead versus a 3 ball method is that this Cover Pink Acrylic from Coupa is the one that I'm using, and it applies so beautifully that it doesn't necessarily require that extra playtime that the 3 ball method allows you. So now on a nail form backing, we're going to start sculpting all of our bits, and I'm going to begin with the brush, and you can choose whichever colors your heart desires. I'm going to go with just some bright ones. I'm going to do purple for my brush, and I'm going to give it a round paddle. My favorite hairbrush that I use has a square paddle, and it is a huge brush. I have a ton of hair, and so a ginormous brush is my favorite one, but I feel like these rounder ones just give it more of a girly feeling. It seems less industrial to me than a square shaped paddle brush. Maybe I'm just nuts. I don't know. Does anybody agree with me on that? I don't know. But that is what I am going with. But like I said, you can really switch it up and do whatever you want. And then for the brush, you're going to add a layer of black acrylic to the part that's going to hold on to the little bristles. And then before that cures, you have to be quick. You're going to take a piece of wire and you're going to poke the black acrylic to give it indents. And you're going to dip your wire into some clear acrylic or black acrylic before you poke it. And then every, maybe 3-4 pokes, but just fill that brush with all kinds of little indents. And then you're going to take little pieces of wire and you're going to glue them into the indents, which is a tedious process and not one that I would recommend if you are somebody that does not have really good close-up vision or like a magnifying glass that you use, because to get it into those little holes that are just done in the black acrylic is fairly tricky. I don't know about anybody else, but it reminds me of trying to take pictures of my black cat and, any black animal. They're so deep in color that as soon as you take a picture of them, all you see is this black hole into the middle of the universe and eyes. And it's kind of like that. It's really hard to see the little holes in this black sculpted thing. So unless you have, like I said, really impeccable vision or a magnifying glass, you may want to try to come up with an alternative plan for this. Once that's done, you're going to carefully trim off the ends of the wire so they're all about the same length. I did lose a few of my bristles during this process, but I kept most of them. So just do it carefully and then you should be fine. So now going back to the nail form backing, I'm going to be sculpting the 2 sides of my hair straightener. And for this one, I'm going to be doing it with another bright color. All of the colors I'm using, while bright, are also kind of like a rich jewel color. And this one is a reddish, kind of a berry pinky red color. Good description there. And I'm going to do the one side and then I'm going to do the other side. And if you're looking at this and you're not somebody that ever straightens your hair and you want to do it, create something a little bit more personalized, you could do a curling rod or even like a spray bottle. You could do a spray can from Hairspray or something. But if you do want to have that cord and you want to do something that's an electric hair tool, then a hair dryer would work for sure, or like I said, a curling rod, flat iron. All of those things that are those electric hair tools are what's going to give you that really cool little curly thing. But you can always switch this up, and if you're somebody that isn't a cosmetologist and you don't ever use shears, then that's when you'd want to do a bottle of hairspray or something else. I'm going to glue a piece of thread to the end of one of the sides of my hair straightener, glue that down, and then after you have that, add a little bit more glue and then hold the other piece to your hair straightener up to it, leaving a little bit of a gap at the other end. So the end with the cord or the piece of thread is tight and then the other end is open. And then secure everything together with slight bit more of that same color of acrylic, that pinky red. And then after you have that done, you could have sculpted these on beforehand, but for me, I just wanted to get it assembled first.
don't really know why. It would probably been easier to do it beforehand. But have you ever done that where you just feel like you need to do step A before step B, even if it's the wrong order and it's illogical, but you're just, for some reason, your mind's like, no, I think this is the way we should do it. That's the case here. But we're going to be sculpting the heating elements, the heating plates, on our flat iron with silver acrylic inside the flat iron. Like I said, it probably would have been easier to do this before you glued it together because you could see a little bit better, but either way, it works out. Then after you have that done, then you're going to hold your piece of wire down and up to a nail form backing and sculpt your plug. You're going to sculpt it with black acrylic and then add in a couple pieces of silver wire for the parts that actually go into the outlet. Once that's done and it's all been, it's all cured, you can take it off of your nail form backing and cut those pieces of wire down so that they aren't too long. And I just left that little bit of still video there because I lost some, so I had enough time to explain what was going on. Then we're going to take and we're going to be sculpting our shears with yet another color, and I'm going to be using a nice rich blue for this one. And we're going to do the two handles of our shears first, so the part that has the thumb hole and the finger hole in it. And then, so hair cutting shears have a very different look to them compared to just your regular, Fiskars shears that you have in your drawer for cutting out coupons if you're a coupon clipper. Do people still get coupons in the mail anymore? Or is it just me? I love getting coupons in the mail. They are like what decides my lunch. The coupons I get in the mail. Anyways, totally random sidetracked thing. It just seems like such a dated concept with email coupons and everything, but yet I still love them. I'm a weirdo, I know. But we're going to be very carefully sculpting all of the different shapes to these shears. And like I said, they're different than your other kind of scissors that you use to cut out your lunch coupons. They are much more angular. They're very ergonomic. I don't like to cut hair, and I'm not a trained cosmetologist, but I do cut my mother's hair. And so I bought myself a pair of shears from a salon website, and they're so comfortable. And I'm sure somebody that does cut hair for a living, you'd be like, these things are not comfortable. Hold them for 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. But just, for the occasional thing, they feel so heavy and so rich compared to just a regular scissors. So we've got those two little bits of it. The handles are sculpted with blue. The actual metal cutting part, the blades are sculpted with silver with a little hole in them. Then you're going to assemble everything together on the nail. I'm going to start by gluing on my little flat iron, wrapping the cord around the nail, and then gluing it in place on the tip. Try to balance your wraps for how long your cord is. And then after you have that done, you can find the place to glue down the hairbrush. And then after the brush is glued in, then you can glue down the first part of your shears. So you're going to glue the one part that's stationary of the shears, and then after that's glued down, you're going to glue a piece of wire into the hole that you made in the shears and just glue that straight up. So it's coming directly out of the nail. And then let that glue dry. Give it some time, really let it dry. Then while you're letting that dry, you can take some clear acrylic and fill in underneath everything just to add some secureness to it with clear acrylic. You're going to fill in around the shears, under any little pieces that are sticking up underneath the brush, underneath the flat iron, around the wire. All of those spots that are subject to breakage are where you're going to want to fill in. And then once you have those done and you're kind of filling in under everything and making sure it's all really strong, that little spot where the shears is coming out off the nail is especially, delicate, I would say. So you want to make sure that you don't forget to fill in that with some extra clear acrylic. Then you're going to take and string the other part of your shears over your piece of wire, and then you can just look at it. You can kind of see how they line up. It is so fun. I absolutely recommend trying to make something like this. It's just, if you've never done it before, but you're somebody that works with acrylic often, this is a concept that it doesn't have to even be just a shears, but just this kind of one piece that's moving is just so much fun. And it's so, you can just play with it, and it just gives you something to do. I love it. And then after you have the one strung on, cut it off, add a little bit of clear acrylic to the end of the wire so that it doesn't fall off and fall apart, and then secure that second piece of the shears with some more clear acrylic so that it has some strength as well. And then I'm going to take and apply a couple little bits of jewelry gel here and there on the nail to add some rhinestones at the end, and then apply some gel sealer around all of my sculpted pieces. So I'm going to apply the gel sealer around the wire, or I guess it's really thread, around the thread for the cord, and then around the brush, the shears, the flat iron, around everything. So just kind of just tuck it in. If you have a gel sealer that has a really small bottle brush like I do, that's great. Otherwise, you can use one, just like a separate nail art brush for that. Then apply some gel glaze over just the shears, the metal part of the shears. And other than that, I didn't do any other painting. If you wanted to put a brand name on your brush or on the flat iron, if there was a certain brand that you're loyal to, you certainly could do that. I tried to decide back and forth between whether I wanted to or not, and I decided just to leave them plain, and I like it that way. It keeps the colors nice and vibrant, but you certainly could if you wanted to, and I'd love to see recreations if you do decide to make one. I will see you guys next time. Bye!